Hey everyone, it's Mike. Welcome back to part 2 of how to play Dwarf Fortress. This is where we just left off, if you remember, hopefully. And in this episode, I'm going to show you what these 3 screens you're looking at right here are. A basic idea of like how to know what you're looking at, and some basic start and how to start off your fort. So, like I said, what you're looking at right now, you're looking at 3 screens. All the way to the right is the mini-map of what your entire embark screen looks like. In the middle right now is a list of hotkeys that you can use. And on the left is the main screen. It's what's actually going on. And you use this to actually play Dwarf Fortress, the screen on the left. That's like your main screen. So you can start off, the first thing you want to learn is if you hit tab, it changes each screen, so you can cycle through a whole bunch of different layouts. If you hit tab again, it moves everything around. This is the screen that I usually use to play, where it's the middle and the left are used for the main, and the right is for hotkeys, because no matter how much you play, you're still going to need the hotkeys, really. It does help. And the other one's not really useful. If you hit tab again, you get a big, huge, which some people might use once they know enough of the hotkeys. Hit tab again, and it's just the mini-map on the right. And that's useful at the beginning to get an idea of where you're going to be. Hit tab again, and you're back for where you are. So for now, we're just going to use the mini-map on the side, as I explained in the next part. So what you're looking at right now is a bird's eye view, just so you know. It's not that hard to tell what's going on, but it can be really confusing at first. Most tutorials don't really explain what you're looking at, and this was definitely one of the harder parts for me when I first started. So what you can do is, if you hit K, it's zoom in. If you look closely, you can see a little yellow cursor, and you can move one tile at a time, and in the middle it'll tell you what it is you're looking at. So right now we're going to go over this tree and see what it says. It's an ash tree. Okay, and if we go over to this animal, we can see it's a duck. And even over Dwarf, it's our expedition leader. So if you ever just see something and you're not sure what it is, just hit K, move the cursor over it, and you get a really basic description of it. So that's a nice part if you just want to look around. Hit escape. So we're looking at on the right. This is a flat place this is a flat embark we picked. So there's not going to be too much. The river that I talked about was actually frozen over. So it'll defrost in the summer and might freeze over again in the winter. Probably will. So we're going to start off by making our fort, actually. And so we're going to have to dig a hole straight in the ground and start digging out rooms, and later on build a wall. That's going to be our plan. So we'll hit tab again 3 times, and now we have the hotkeys on the right. So like I said last video, you can pause the game with space, which helps a lot. You hit space to unpause, your dwarves will do stuff. Hit space again and it'll stop. So the first thing that you're going to want to do are basic designations. If you hit D, you get a list of commands. The way this works is you don't actually pick each dwarf to do something. Each dwarf has their own job assigned to them, and depending on what they do, someone will just do it. So how we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is design some trees to get cut down, because we need wood. So what we're going to do is, with the cursor, like when we hit K, we go to one corner and we're going to draw a rectangle. So we hit enter to start the rectangle, then we just draw out, if you can see the blinking dot right there, right here, that's where the bottom left, or top right if you want, or just one corner, and depending on where you bring it, all the trees that are in that box are going to be designated to get cut down. So we have sparse trees, so we're going to have to make a big rectangle to get enough wood. So once we have a big enough thing, we just hit enter again, and all the trees that were just selected are going to get cut down eventually. So back in designations, there's a whole bunch you can do, but for now we'll just do the basics, which is chopping down trees and mining and carving stairs. So if you're ever in the screen and once you're done, just hit escape. That's pretty much the go back button all throughout the game. So now that we have trees ready, our ex-dwarf, our woodcutter, is gonna cut them down for us and start collecting lumber. So now we want to dig our base, and I wish there was some hills here, but since there aren't, I'll just show you how to do it in open ground for it. So you hit D to get to the designations. What you're going to want to do first is hit J for a downward stairway. And this is going to make your main stairway. So I'll explain what you do then. Actually, before I do that, let me tell you one more thing for moving around. If you hold down Shift and hit on the comma and period, which is the greater than and equals to, it'll move you up and down layers. So Shift period goes down a layer, and Shift comma goes up a layer. Now, the way this works is, imagine each layer that you're looking at is about the height of a dwarf. If you go down one, then this is the layer under it. It's all black because it's just undiscovered rock. It's kind of like Fog of War, like in most games. And if you hit K, it doesn't give us a description because we don't know. And all these little dots are just for decoration. They don't mean anything. And here's like a little pond that was frozen over. Up here we can see it's ice, and down below it's ice. And around it, you can see there's yellow sand. Now, when you're digging, the first few layers will be made of dirt, and they're going to be a lot easier to dig through for our dwarfs. So what we're going to want to start to do is start digging down. We hit D for designation, J for downward stairway, and our main stairwell is going to be 3 by 3. So do that for 3 by 3. Alright, so now we go down one layer. Remembering where our cursor is, so that's the bottom right. So since that's a downward stairway, to get back up, we're going to want an upward stairway by hitting U. So since we're in the bottom right of a 3 by 3, we'll just make another 3 by 3. And now if we look up and down, they're both connected and our dwarfs can go up and down. Now we're going to actually want to start digging out hallways and rooms for our dwarves. So we're going to start with a basic hallway, and like I said before, if you hold on Shift and move your arrow keys, it does these big jumps, which are 11, I think. Yeah, it should be 11. So we'll just make a nice big hallway at first. And one of the first things we're going to want to make for our dwarves are some bedrooms and farms. So for our farm, we'll make a nice big underground farm. Most crops in Dwarf Fortress are underground, like your main ones. And we'll also want a decent sized bedroom, so we'll just do it right there. That should be big enough. We'll make it a dormitory so all of our dwarves share it. And then here's our farm. And we're going to want somewhere to put all that wood, so we'll make another hallway this way. And we'll make a place for wood storage later on. Now I made this too big, and now that I want to undo that, and this works for any designation, you hit X to remove the designation, and then you just make another rectangle, and whatever's selected will get cancelled. So that's helpful. You'll probably be doing that a lot as you play. Now even though it looks like I'm not digging these out, everything that's sort of this tannish color is going to get dug out, so even though this isn't revealed, it'll look like a wall is going to appear here. So all this right here, even though we didn't dig it out, it's because a wall is going to stay back. Even though this at first might look a little weird, once you dig it out, it'll make sense. So just do that for now, and always build either a 2 by 2 or just one way. Oops, hit D for each entrance to each room. And we'll make some stockpiles for food up by our farms. And stockpiles are basically it just stores stuff. You designate a stockpile and your doors will bring whatever you want in there. So now what we do is we hit escape, we go back up a layer, and if we hit resume, we can see our dwarves are moving around and going to work. Our minor dwarves are digging out the area, and if we hit K, we can see that our woodworker is cutting wood. Here's some logs, and if we go down a layer, here they are carving everything out. Whoa. Oh, look at that, the water defrosted. That's nice. So if you go back down, we'll just let them finish. And another thing I want to explain is, if we hit U, this shows us all of our units and what they're doing right now. So what I wanted to go to was our hunter, who's right now is hunting. So if we want to select one, we just go over their name, hit C, and it zooms in on them, and we get a description of what the dwarf does. So what we want to do is, if we hit B, no, not B, if we hit P, we can assign him a hunting dog to help him. So we hit P, E, and then H, and it gives him the hunting dog. We brought one, so we're just gonna give it to him. It'll help. So escape done, space to resume, and he'll go back to hunting. If we want to see what wildlife there is, from here we just go to the bottom of the list by hitting up right away, and there's some rabbits right now. Everything else is with us. So our hunter is probably gonna go after those. And now what we're gonna want to do is, we have an up-down stairway, an up stairway here and a down stairway here, but if we want to be able to make this go straight down a whole bunch of ways, we're gonna want a special kind of staircase called an up-down stairway. So if we hit I, we can make that. Now the way this works is, if you go down, you can just keep going down and down and down. So we're gonna go down and get some rocks, because they help a lot. So we're gonna go down a few, about like 5. And once our miners get those, we can start building stuff. So I'll just pause the video until the dwarves are done. Alright, I'm back, and it's sooner than I wanted because something bad happened and I struck the caves. And that's not good because horrible things can come in through the caves, and it's connected right to the base. So what I'm gonna have to do is, I'm gonna have to dig out an area over here and start a new staircase somewhere it won't go into the caves. So if you look right here, it's just gonna go through solid rock and we don't have to worry. And we're gonna plug up the hallway that goes to the horrible place. So we'll just dig this out, because if this happens to you early on, this is probably your best bet, because later on it's fun to have the caves, but right away it can be a bit intimidating and scary. So for now we're just gonna dig around them, and eventually we'll build a wall right here so that then it's completely sealed off and nothing can get through. And for now, yeah, that's that. It happens. So don't panic if it happens to you, and if it doesn't happen to you, well, then you're lucky. So I'm gonna pause until we're done. Okay, I'm back, and my dwarves are just about finishing up. They've only got a little bit left to do, but they'll be done with that once I'm done explaining. So what we're going to want to do next is start building some workshops for our dwarves to do stuff with. So to do that, we hit B for buildings, and we hit W again for workshops, and there's all sorts of things you can do. To start off, we're going to want a carpenter's workshop, so hit C for that, and we'll just place them right outside our entrance for now. Just hit enter once you have a 3x3 area. If you can place it, it's green. Just find a nice clearing to put it. And we struck some rock, some dolomite, which is actually a flux stone. Even though our embark said we didn't have it, we still have it. It happens a lot, so don't worry. I'll get into flux stone later, but for now we'll just use it because there's a lot of it. So hit enter, and that's what it makes out of. We have a carpenter. Hit M for a mason's workshop. Here we'll be able to work with stone, which is really important. At the carpenter's, obviously wood, so that's pretty self-explanatory. So again, use plus minus like I said. So I usually just do minus because I don't have to hold on shift. Then go to dolomite, hit enter, and one last thing, hit R for craft dwarfs, and we'll just put that right here, and we'll make it out of dolomite. So whoever's job it is to do stuff at the workshop will build it. Hit escape and resume. And if I didn't say this before, if you hit the caves, the first thing you're going to want to do is pause, cancel all the designations for the stairways and the walls. You don't really want your dwarves digging down there, just not safe. And yeah, you're better off just not bothering with that right now. You don't want to seal it off right away. What are my dwarves doing? They're getting drinks, and they're not finishing it up. But it doesn't matter. So yeah, since we hit the caves, there's all sorts of plants, and you can see stuff growing. Like right here we have fungus, shrubs, stuff from the caves. I mean, it's helpful, but it just makes everything look so dirty. I don't really like it. Okay, our workshops are done. So what we do to use workshops, you hit Q, and you get a little designation thing again. and whichever workshop you move it over, it'll do stuff. So we'll go to the carpenter's workshop for now. If we hit A to add a new thing, and there's all sorts of things you can do. There's hotkeys, of course. So we're going to want our dwarves to be able to sleep good, so we'll make some beds for them. We have 7 dwarves, so we'll make 7 beds. So hit A, B, and we'll just do that 7 times. 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's 7 beds that'll be made. And it works the same as at the Mason's workshop. We hit A, and now we're going to want some doors, because doors are helpful. So hit D, A, D, and we're also going to want a few tables, so A, T, and we'll get some thrones, which are basically chairs, so A, C, A, C. So our carpenter and mason will get to work. I dug out some stone down here. Our people would just come and get it, so we don't have to worry. And these are almost finished. Yeah, they're pretty much done. So right here is clear. This is where we're going to build our farms. So we hit D again for designation. No, we hit B, sorry, to build stuff. And we're going to want to build a farm plot, so we hit P. Now, it looks small right now, but what you do is, just like with that embark, use UMKH to change the size. So we'll build some 4x4 farming plots for now. Just in each corner, we'll make 3 of them. Another one. Another one. Right there. So now our farmer will come and build those, and we'll also make some food stockpiles. And like I said, what a stockpile is before, you designate it just like with any rectangle, and it sets it up. Oh, it's an animal stockpile. Sorry, guys. When you make stockpiles, you want to designate them. So hit X to remove it if you make a mistake like I did. Hit F for food, and you can get into details after you make it. So that one's gonna be used for seeds. We're gonna use this one for drinks, and this one for food. And we'll make a middle one for prepared food. So now what we do is we hit Q with buildings. Now we can manage stockpiles. So we hit S, we go to food. Now since we only want all food that's just like basic general stockpile, we'll get rid of the stuff that we're gonna be putting in other ones. So you go over when you hit F to get rid of it. We're gonna put drinks in another one, seeds in another one. Hit U to stop prepared food. If it's like grayed out, that means it's not there. If it's white, it's there. It's pretty obvious. So we'll do the other ones. This one's the prepare food. So if you just want to block them all, you hit B. They all get blocked, and hit just the one you want. So U. Do the same here, and this will be for drinks. Hit P to bring it. Like I said, U is its own special food. And over here is our seed stockpile. So block all and permit seeds. Escape done, resume. And our farmer is going to come and start building. There he is at work. And all of our dwarves who have hauling enabled will just move stuff to stockpiles. So we brought a whole bunch of food with us. They're going to be moving it all there. So farm plots you manage just like any other building. You hit Q, you go over them, and the way that these work is A, B, C, D all represent different seasons. You can grow different things in different seasons. We'll dedicate one plot just to plump helmets because they're your general all-purpose crop. Very helpful. So A for spring for that. You can grow them all around too. Plump helmets, plump helmets, plump helmets. A, B, C, D. So that's all you need to do for now. And this is a pretty good start. So I'll just end it here. So we'll see you guys in part 3.